Hey guys, how's it going? It's Philip with Trade Genius. On this video, I wanted to cover NEO. We've talked about it in the past, but I think now it's time to revisit it because I think it's setting up quite nicely for both a short-term swing and a long-term hold. NEO in a nutshell is the Chinese Ethereum, and so they have a big exposure to that market. There's been some talk of them doing some record keeping for the Chinese government. In addition to ICOs and smart contract type technology that will be run on their blockchain. So I think once China lifts their ban on ICOs and clarifies their stance, which is typically what their behavior is, they'll usually say something's banned and then they'll lift it or provide some regulatory guidance on it. But I think once that happens, I think NEO is going to just explode higher. So what I wanted to do is just go over the charts real quick and kind of take a look at what we can expect to see move-wise in the short term, and then what levels we'd be looking at for a longer-term breakout. So why don't we take a look at those charts real quick, and you'll see what I mean. So basically I've got the hourly, the 4-hour, and the daily. And if you look at the daily, this is going to show us that we are basically bouncing off a trend line that's holding here. And I think ultimately what we're going to do is we're going to run up. This is a very long-term trend line that was support for so long during kind of the rise of the altcoins. And then we kind of topped out here in, like most alts did, in the August timeframe. And then never quite made new highs again. You kind of had a not very symmetrical head and shoulder. And then once that neckline, which was this long-term trend line, once that broke, then the bear market was on, as with a lot of the alts. Now, fast forward to today, and we've got a nice bottom that's been put in. And so now it really comes down to when Bitcoin decides to make a big move, that's when you start to see some of these pullbacks that are exemplified in this 1 hour or the 1 day charts. But you notice the pullbacks are fairly short-lived, and we keep grinding higher. So now we're riding on this trend line, which we've just bounced off of the last 3 days. And on the technicals, it looks pretty good with the stock RSI cycling down and coming up, which usually when we get down in these areas here provides for a decent move. You'll get moves like this, and there's a bottom move up here. It didn't quite. This was still in the bear market, so your moves were kind of muted. It's better to see when you're above your short-term moving averages above the longer-term one here, like we have here. So now these typically set up for bigger moves. So short-term, if you're looking for a swing trade, somewhere in here is pretty good. As you notice, we've gotten through a lot of this big volume area here, which usually is a fight to get through. If we zoom out and kind of capture the entire area, and you can see now we're above this price point here, where I think we've gotten through a lot of potential resistance, and now kind of clears the path for some upside moves. So, around this level here, you can see where a number of times price approached this level and kind of either battled it or fought through it, battle here, drop, battle up again, drop. So this price level approximately coincides with all of this volume build up in this area. So we're pushing, and as we push past that, and then we just kind of, get rid of that line. Now that we've pushed past that, now we've come up here, and now we've pulled back nicely, and I expect a run to the underside of that trend line. And I think alts have another probably week or so before they might have to brace for some Bitcoin movement to the upside, and I mean sustained movement. So I think potentially we could see a move all the way up to this level, this 0.009 level, and tag the underside of this trend line. I think at that point we probably do see a decent pullback, because not only are we getting into the bottom of that trend line, which historically those will provide some resistance, but we're also getting into this bear fib zone in here, and we do have some volume buildup from the previous highs of over here. So I think that's going to prove to be an area where we will see basically resistance and then a pullback. But I think definitely we're good for a swing up to that point. So definitely a decent percentage gain up to there. Longer term, I think this high gets taken out, but I think we're going to have to battle through here. But once we clear this bear fib zone and get above this 0.0094 area, I think it's this all-time high is going bye-bye. And so pretty exciting. I think that there's a lot of upside potential for NIO in 2018, and I think this is a pretty decent spot. I think a good bottom has been put in so far, and I think this is the next target up here in this 0.09 area. So I thought I'd point that out to you guys. Another opportunity for an alt play. If you're not already in it, it's probably a decent spot to get in it. But if you want to accumulate this, I would say just buy on all the pullbacks, because I think through 2018 this could be one of those, definitely one of the few that I'd be comfortable holding through 2018, 2019, just because of the exposure. And I just think that China is going to clarify something on the ICO side, and that's when I think this thing's just going to go ballistic. So that's pretty much it for NIO. Real quick, we'll take a look at Bitcoin, because we are just starting out in the new week. And on the daily, basically what we're doing is we're pulling back into this smaller fib zone here. We'll see if this trend line holds. Basically, we've completed a fib move down from the 4-hour chart, which are actually, let's take a look at the hourly chart. And basically, we're not breaking this trend line. So until we do, expect it to just bounce off of it. We did complete a fib move where we came down, and I pointed this out earlier. Basically, we retraced up into this. Not only did we hit that trend line, but we also had this bear fib zone, and then the extension of that move finishes off here. So we've completed that. As you can see, pretty much we have a volume void here, so price kind of moved through that fairly quickly. I think that would not surprise me if we kind of stalled out here, we made another move higher. I think definitely on the hourly we could expect a move up into this area again, and then we'll see if that trend line holds again. But I think more consolidation. I think on the larger time frames, which we can take a look at, we're starting to set up where we have I think we'll have a larger consolidation, and so I think that we'll consolidate for another week here, but I do suspect that this trend line that's forming here will get broken, and I think we run up to this 18,000 area, and I don't think that gets the party started yet, but I do think once we get past into next week, I'm going to start getting pretty bullish on Bitcoin for next week, timing wise and cycle wise. I think we might see a push higher once we get above 18,000. I'm expecting a test of the highs, which almost was 20K on GDAX. So more consolidation this week, guys. If you want to take a look at the Magic channel, nothing too extreme here. We got a low of 14,400. The futures are similarly priced to the underlying, and then we have a high of 17,464 currently. So we'll check on that as the week progresses. But because we are in an upward channel, we do like to buy these levels, as opposed to fading the upside of an upward channel. So any dips down here would be looking to swing long on. And that's pretty much it. We'll cover some other stuff in the coming videos this week, but I wanted to kind of go over NIO. I think a good opportunity to get into that at these levels, and then Bitcoin looking to consolidate further. That's pretty much it. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you watching. Please hit subscribe if you're not subscribed already, and if you are, we appreciate that. Thank you very much, and we'll catch you on the next video. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care. Bye.